What you just saw is the Teclast F5. It has nothing to do with those plastic bangers from China that a while ago have been sold to us as convertibles, right? But is that more than just the looks, or is the Teclast F5 really the amazing device that it seems to be? Let's take a closer look. The Teclast F5 was provided by GearBest for this review, where it currently costs between 280 and 300 euros depending on available deals. As usual, I will put a link to the shop into the video description down below. Let's go back to the design real quick. What Teclast did there at such a low price tag is truly impressive. The design is not 100% unique, but still beautiful. It leaves a high quality impression and is really slim. And high quality isn't just the first impression. Having a closer look, the build quality is really good. Despite the thin body, the device is sturdy enough. There is a bit of flex, but you need to apply quite a lot of force to it to reveal that. That's possible thanks to aluminum, which Teclast uses for a large part of the body. The only part of the design that is made from plastic is the top case. And even this isn't just ordinary plastic. They applied a very smooth texture to it that has a bit of a rubbery feel to it. This gives it a nice touch and to my surprise does a good job keeping fingerprints away. But the real highlight is the screen. It can be set to any angle you like. You can use it like any laptop, you can lay it flat on a table, use it as a classic tablet, in tent mode, or like that. Whatever you wanna call this, it does work. The hinge leaves a solid impression and has just enough resistance to prevent a change of the set angle without me wanting to change it. And there you go, as you can see, this thing even packs a touch screen. Well, it really has to, right? Otherwise, having a tablet mode wouldn't make any sense, doesn't it? It does recognize up to 10 fingers at once and does work just fine. In addition, there's an optional active stylus with 1024 pressure levels that you can use. Even the touch resolution is great and enables smooth and steady scrolling. By the way, when you flip the screen to any angle of more than 180 degrees, the laptop will automatically disable its keyboard and touchpad and switch to the Windows 10 tablet mode. That's neat. Now, the only reason for criticism for me is the screen glass. It definitely lacks a bit of slip and also is a fingerprint magnet. But that being said, the tight budget likely didn't allow them to use a better glass, so I am fine with that. What they didn't cut costs on, however, is the screen. They use a really good 11.6-inch IPS LCD panel that is fully laminated and offers a wonderfully crisp picture quality that impressed me right from the start. The vivid and intense colors and the good contrast are a pleasure to look at and make colorful pictures and videos pop. Thanks to the Full HD resolution, you won't see any pixels within a normal viewing distance. The viewing angles are top-notch as well. And one more thing, the brightness. A lot of laptops from China have rather dull looking screens. Now, the Teclast F5 isn't the brightest device out there as well, but the brightness definitely is higher than most other China laptops. I personally didn't have any issues using this thing outdoors when there was a bit of shadow available. So what about the keyboard? Well, it actually isn't that bad. It doesn't have any annoying issues such as double or skipped characters. The overall typing comfort isn't too shabby as well. The keys aren't the best in terms of feel, but totally acceptable at this price point, and after some time of getting used to it, typing flow is decent. I personally have had no issues typing long stuff on this machine. Some might say that the buttons are too small, but I think that everyone should be able to get used to this after a while of typing with it. In my opinion, Teclast did the best possible job using the available space for the keyboard. The layout, as usual, is just available as QWERTY, but that's not much of a big issue since you can still use other layouts on it by setting the software accordingly. In case the wrong labeling of the keys annoys you, the internet has tons of keyboard stickers available to choose from. Another plus is the touchpad. Teclast doesn't use a cheap one, but a proper precision touchpad instead that supports all Windows 10 gestures. Multitouch works like a dream and making switching between desktops and apps a breeze. In the Windows 10 settings, you can set up gestures to your personal preference and disable unused gestures entirely. Moving the cursor works flawless as well, no input lag, no jumping, and it's quite precise, just like it should be. The touchpad also has real mouse buttons hidden below it, and they offer a very nice tactile feedback and a proper resistance, so you won't press them by accident. The build quality is top notch as well, and the touch area sits in place tightly. In terms of performance, you shouldn't expect a machine for gaming and video editing, since the F5 uses an Intel Celeron N4100 processor, which is the successor of the popular Celeron N3450. The chip is situated at the lower end of the lineup of Intel processors, and due to that is only suitable for light tasks such as casual gaming, surfing the internet, watching movies, listening to music, or for office work and basic picture editing. All of that is handled rather well, as long as you can live with short slowdowns or stutters that happen here and there. When doing multitasking, the Teclast F5 performs surprisingly well, even when putting a heavy load on the memory. The reason for that is that Teclast went for a whopping 8 GB of DDR4L RAM on this machine, and as far as I know, this is the first N4100 laptop that packs such a large amount of RAM. Especially when using the Google Chrome browser with lots of open tabs, this gives a noticeable performance boost compared to other N4100 devices. In the Antutu benchmark, the F5 scores 138,958 points, which is a very decent result. But bear in mind that this score was achieved with disabled power limits. Thanks to an unlocked UEFI menu, you can change this setting depending on your needs. In general, disabling power limits enhances 3D performance but also increases energy consumption and heat. But don't get that wrong, even with disabled power limits, the Teclast F5 will never be a gaming machine. World of Tanks at lowest graphics settings at Full HD resolution runs halfway smooth, but that is the highest you can go in terms of gaming. Anything more demanding will be absolutely unplayable. What's nice is that Teclast did apply a proper cooling solution. There is a big heatsink inside, and when disabling power limits, even when having the processor under constant full load, temps never rise above 77 degrees Celsius and there is no sign of thermal throttling. The bottom of the laptop does get warm, but not really hot, like it often is the case on laptops powered by a Core M processor. For your personal data, there is a 128 GB SSD drive. Teclast actually uses one of their own SSDs. The model number is NS550-2242. It's a M2 SATA 3 SSD with the 2242 size, which can be replaced easily through an access lid on the bottom of the laptop. SSDs larger than 2242 cannot be used. The SSD reaches a proper reading speed of 507 MB per second, but at 145 MB per second is extremely slow when writing. You likely won't notice that on a budget laptop though. Another way to get more storage is using a microSD card, but bear in mind that you shouldn't be using this solution if you need high speeds. The SD card reader is rather slow, with a maximum of 24 MB per second in both directions. Next, let's check out USB ports. The Teclast F5 does not offer full-size Type-A ports due to the slim design. Instead, it uses a Type-C port and a micro USB port. The micro USB port is a normal USB 2.0 port on which you can use compatible USB sticks or any Type-A device using an OTG adapter. The port delivers enough current to power a 2.5-inch hard drive and reach the typical USB 2.0 speeds. If you need USB 3.0, you can get this from the Type-C port. This one drives 2.5-inch hard drives as well, and of course squeezes out a better performance of them. The Type-C port, by the way, is a real Type-C port that does support USB Type-C hubs. Using such a hub, you can equip the F5 with an Ethernet port or a full-sized HDMI port, as well as multiple USB 3.0 ports. Theoretically, this enables you to use 2 external monitors because there is also a dedicated micro HDMI jack. However, this isn't of much use due to the weak GPU. One external screen is the maximum you should use. At the software side, there isn't anything negative to report. The laptop is shipped with an activated copy of Windows 10 Home 64-bit, the license key is stored inside the UEFI, so it will be automatically used when reinstalling Windows 10. I ran some virus and malware scans and none of them had any results. Bloatware also is not present except for the usual crap you get with any Windows 10 installation. The system language by default was set to English, but of course you can set it to any language you want by using the Windows 10 settings. When reinstalling Windows 10 you might need some additional drivers to get all the hardware working. For this purpose I created a driver backup for you guys that you can download using the link in the video description. Linux boots fine on the Teclast F5, which I tested using Ubuntu 18.04. Most of the hardware was recognized out of the box, and the only exception are the touchpad and the touchscreen, but I am sure that people who know Linux well won't have any issues getting these to work. Looking at wireless performance, the F5 shows mixed results. The Wi-Fi is top-notch. It's powered by an Intel dual-band wireless AC 3165 chip and reached decent speeds next to the router, and one floor below it there was still a 5 GHz connection up and running with full speeds. Regarding Bluetooth, things look totally different. It's just unusably bad. I tested Bluetooth headphones and starting from 20 cm of distance I had audio hiccups, and with 40 cm of distance the signal was already lost. What really surprised me is how nice the internal speakers sound. I mean, the body is very slim and the footprint is small, so there isn't much space inside of there. Yet, the speakers generate a surprisingly intense depth. There are noticeable basses that can make the body vibrate a little, and they do get very loud as well. All in all, I have to say that when not expecting high-end audio, this laptop is a pleasure to use for watching a movie or listening to music during work, even without headphones. Talking headphones, the F5 also packs a 3.5mm jack. This one offers a decent output too and has no issues with interferences, even with the power brick attached. If you want to adjust the audio output, you can do so using the pre-installed Retec Audio console. This tool offers you presets, audio enhancers and a system-wide equalizer. The only thing I have to say something bad about is the stereo microphone. It's just unusable. There is way too much noise and the volume of my voice was so low in all test recordings that it was almost not understandable. So I just listened to the recording and unfortunately it didn't sound very good. What you shouldn't expect too much from as well is the 1MP webcam. It's okay for basic video chats but not more. Also, the positioning of it in the lower right corner wasn't a good idea for sure. So what about battery life? I have to say that it isn't great but also not bad at all. With disabled power limits you should expect a runtime of between 4 to 6 hours depending on usage and screen brightness. Enabling power limits extends that by 30 to 60 minutes. The battery is a lithium polymer pack that consists of 2 individual cells. It is screwed in place and thus can potentially be replaced. For charging, the USB Type-C port is used along USB power delivery. A full charge takes around 2 hours and you can use any USB PD charger, but no USB chargers without USB PD. The included power brick comes with a native localized plug, doesn't get hot when using it and also doesn't make noises. The cable length is more than sufficient at a very generous 2 meters of length. So, what's the conclusion? Well, I'm actually impressed. At a price tag of 300 euros or even less when it's on sale, it is truly impressive what Teclast managed to offer with the F5. This thing boasts a nice design and build, a gorgeous display, a 360-inch, and if you don't need potent hardware, the specs are fine too. Sure, the unusable Bluetooth and microphones are a letdown, but then again, those flaws don't make the F5 unusable at all. Since aside of that, everything is nearly perfect, there is no reason why I shouldn't recommend it. I think the F5 definitely is a bargain offering, and among the currently available Celeron N4100 laptops, in my opinion, is the most attractive offering right now. And with that being said, we reached the end of this review. I was Christopher, thanks for watching, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye!